Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Think Outside the Box Office. As you know, Thanksgiving is coming up fast, and we thought what better movie to do than the 1987 legend John Hughes flick, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Uh, I, Seemingly, it's like the definitive road trip movie, is what I come across on the internet. Everyone who loves a good buddy road trip comedy movie, or not buddy, as like this movie is. Seems to be this is the gold standard. Um, this was my first viewing. Tyler, I believe it was your first viewing as well, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I'll start with you first, man. Like, what'd you think of it?
Uh, it's funny you mention it being a road trip movie because I absolutely love road trip movies. Like, there's a
Sure. Yeah,
long list of movies that I just love in that same setting. Uh, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really funny. A little bit dated, but I mean that's to be expected. It's from 1987.
for
I
sure.
had a lot of laughs. I watched it twice, and on the second viewing, I thought it was just as funny, man. I thought it was a good movie.
Right on, man.
What about you?
um, I did enjoy it. I liked it. I didn't love it. It is a little dated, like you said. With modern technology, a lot of that, would be the problems in this movie would be solved a lot easier with today's technology and different stuff like that. Um, but it was enjoyable, man. It stars John Candy and Steve Martin, who are both, Hollywood funny guys. Who doesn't love a good John Candy film, right?
Right.
And he's working with John Hughes, which he did Uncle Buck with him.
Home Alone.
Yeah, John Hughes wrote Home Alone. John Candy showed up in that. This was a fun movie. Um, I did have a few issues with it, but overall, I did enjoy it. For my first time, I'm glad to say I've seen it. I can check that off the list. And actually, to be honest with you, when whoever suggested this movie we do this month, I didn't even know it was a Thanksgiving movie. Like I just thought I was like, oh, they want to do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. All right, cool. And then looking at it, I was like, oh, it is a Thanksgiving movie. Okay, so
Yeah,
I didn't know
I think that was me. I think I just Googled like Thanksgiving movies, and
that.
there's actually not a whole lot of Thanksgiving movies. Most of them are horror movies that I've seen.
For
You,
sure. Yeah.
it's either like a horror movie or like a feel good like Hallmark family type thing.
Yeah.
And I
And
thought
I'm
this would
not
be the most interesting, especially coming just off of October. We did so many horror movies already. There were some that looked interesting, but I don't know. None of them really looked like major horror movies. They all look kind of low budget,
for sure.
you know.
There, there is a horror movie, I think literally called Thanksgiving, that Eli Roth did 2 or 3 years ago. I've seen it. And yeah, it's just kind of like your typical slasher. It's kind of like My Bloody Valentine. Like, do you need a holiday themed killer for this holiday? Probably not, but there is one. And yeah, like it was okay. I'm glad you chose this instead of like what you said, kind of those feel good
Yeah,
family Thanksgiving movies. Because I remember one time you told me, uh, I think you said you didn't like Christmas episodes on TV shows, and
yeah,
you were like, "But the one thing I hate more than Christmas episodes is Thanksgiving episodes." And I was like, "I completely agree." Right? They
right.
get cheesy and like warm, and it's usually something fucking stupid that ruins the day. That at the end of the day, when they're eating their meal, they're like, "We can just forget about that." And it's like, you look at we spent 30 minutes watching you guys doing this whole stupid episode. But
Well,
so
spoilers
I ended.
ahead, but there is a little bit of that in this.
Oh
But
no, for sure,
I
for
thought
sure.
I thought the like heart in this movie was actually pretty good. I thought like the feel good stuff was good. Maybe it was just because I just watched the John Candy documentary. I Like Me.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
so some of that stuff was hitting me a little bit, just coming off of that movie and then seeing some of the parallels between like John Candy in real life and like this movie, you know what I mean?
Uh, that would be cool. I did actually want to watch that before I got to this, and I clearly didn't get to. So every John Candy character I've seen is a lovable, a seemingly lovable guy. Uncle Buck, Home Alone. Uh, I think he was kind of the bad guy in Blues Brothers, but he's not really like a bad guy. He's just like the opposition, right?
Right.
Uh, so it would be kind of cool to see like behind the scenes, like in between takes, real life stuff of him because he seems like a genuine dude. And it seems like everything I read about the guy, everyone had the highest praise for John, you
Yeah,
know,
he seemed like one of those rare people in Hollywood that like nobody had anything bad to say about him.
for sure. Yeah.
And you,
I,
you don't see that a lot. Maybe like Keanu Reeves or someone
oh,
like that.
yeah.
But
It seems he's
there's
like Hollywood's golden boy. So
right. There's only so many people that can make it through completely unscathed like that.
for sure. Um, I think I read an interview, though, actually, it might have been in that movie about Macaulay Culkin talked about how John Candy was even kind of protective on the set of Uncle Buck
Yeah, that
or
was in
Home
the
Alone.
documentary. Yeah,
Was it okay? I didn't know if that was
I
an
can't.
excerpt from the documentary or not. So
It must have been. It must have been from Uncle Buck because Home Alone. I think he's only in a small portion of. I think he only was on set one day.
yeah, I think you're right, and it's with the mom the whole time. He's not even in the scene with Macaulay Culkin. So
I think they said it was like 23 hours of shooting that day. Like he was there for, they only had him for one day and he's like, just take your time. Let's get what we need.
yeah,
Don't feel rushed. And then it was like a full day filming.
and I think he improvised most of that, right? Like there wasn't even like maybe not like an outline, but like there's no solid script. Like I think they kind of played fast and loose with it, which is why the mom was a little like, she just kind of had to receive what the vibe he was giving off, because like I'm the polka king, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of improvisation in all of his movies, I think.
For sure.
I think that's a John Hughes thing too, to let people improvise.
I agree. Yeah. I think
You
you're
get
right.
that a lot more in comedies than other things. Like in this movie, I read that the original cut was like 3 hours and 45 minutes or something
See,
because
yeah, I
he
read
just
that. That's
let him
crazy.
riff so much, and there was, like, a bunch of little subplots and stuff that didn't actually end up making it into the movie, and we can
You're
get into a little bit of that once we go through, the
right,
story
right,
beats and
right.
stuff, but, yeah,
Cool.
there's some and you actually feel some of it, like, there's some lines that don't exactly make sense in the movie that were tied to subplots that were cut, and there's
Right.
some,
There's like after scenes of subplots that he cut out. Like spoiler alert, like the guy that robs him at night in the hotel room, like I read, that was part of something bigger that you said also John Candy drops a line about, and we can dive into it when we get there, whatever. But
right.
like there was some stuff that I was kind of like, why mention this if you didn't even show it? Like that's a lot of off-screen happenings to just talk about and not let us see. But diving into the plot, right?
Well,
Like,
before we get to the plot, you mentioned,
okay,
like, road trip movies, and as I was kind of looking into like other road trip movies, there's one that stands out, Due Date, that is almost exactly this movie. You know what I mean?
yeah, you've
It's
seen it?
yeah, I love it. I like it a
Okay,
lot.
okay,
I don't think it got a great uh reception. I don't know if a lot of people loved it, but to me, I thought it was pretty funny. But it's Robert Downey Jr. trying to get home in time to see his baby born, and then he gets stuck with Zach Galifianakis, and he's a lovable oaf that
right, right.
is
Heart of
annoying, but
gold,
he means well, but he's like annoying. And over the journey, they kind of find their own kind of friendship, and
for
that's
sure.
exactly this movie. And then I was like looking
Yeah,
into other ones. I mean, Tommy Boy, uh, Harold and
Deadpool and
Kumar,
Wolverine,
even like because there's road trip movies, and then there's like specifically like Straight Man and Goofball road trip
for
movies,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
you're right.
I mean, there's even you got like Little Miss Sunshine and like Vacation, Dumb and Dumber, but then like more specifically like Due Date, Tommy Boy, Harold and Kumar. There's this movie Sex Drive that I think
Oh,
nobody
that's
saw,
great.
but I do like it a lot.
I love Sex Trap. Sex Trap's hilarious.
And earlier today, I even thought of another one that's kind of the same. It's Me, Myself, and Irene, but Jim Carrey plays the straight man and the
Yeah,
goofball.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that one actually.
yeah. So this is
Even more recently, I mean, $1 billion film, Deadpool and Wolverine.
oh, I didn't even think
Like,
about that.
have you seen that one?
Yeah, I have.
And I don't know that that's so much as they're looking for a destination, so much as they have a task
Right.
to fulfill, but like very road trippy. And I think
Yeah,
even Ryan Reynolds said this is like the biggest inspiration for that film was planes, trains, and automobiles. Apparently, he's crazy fan of it. So,
That's
you know,
awesome. I didn't
like I
know that.
said, this was the gold standard, and seemingly every road trip movie after this took some kind of notes from this movie. So go them,
Yeah,
right on.
this is one of my favorite like subgenres of comedy. I really enjoy these because I think it's really open for some funny moments. Like you're in so many different locations and you got so many things going on at once that it's like it's ripe for comedy. I heard that John Hughes in an interview said that he was inspired to write this movie because he had a similar situation where he was trying to catch a flight from New York to Chicago and the flight got diverted to Wichita and it took him 5 days to get home. So this is like personally happened to him. Not so
That's
much, stranded with John Candy.
yeah, right, right. Uh, that kind of is like the we were talking on Cujo about Stephen King. Kind of had almost the same similar situation about his car dying at the mechanic shop, and like the rabid dog, right, inspired him to write Cujo. John Hughes literally took life happenings and made movies out of them. Like, and that probably corresponds into some of his other stuff too. Like, I don't know, like 16 Candles and like Weird Science and all that stuff. He probably had some of those experiences or saw that or heard that or whatever at his high school and like, oh man, this would be a good movie right here. So that's super cool.
Well, that's
Also, I didn't know, like I was looking at a map. I didn't know Chicago was like way up there in Illinois, right? Like
yeah.
it's like the super
Mhm.
northeastern thing. And like Wichita is what, middle of Kansas?
Right.
I was like, that's a huge like diversion. They couldn't land at like KCI airport back in the day. Like they had to like
Well,
go all the way to Wichita.
what I kinda assumed is that maybe with the snowstorm that was maybe affecting Missouri as well.
I mean, makes sense, right?
So then maybe like those airports were shut down or they had other flights being diverted there. When you're up in the air and you need to
Sure.
land somewhere, you kind of just looking for any safe port in a storm kind of thing.
True. Yeah, I just worry about like, and I don't know how much gas planes have and stuff, but like then that's a long. I mean, that's like another like half the journey that they were supposed to go, and it just seemed like, man, you guys like run out of fuel or something. It just seemed really far.
Hmm.
Again, I don't know where every airport is in America, but you know, just looking at a map, I was like, that's crazy far. Like
Yeah.
that's huge diversion.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up Cujo and like Stephen King having the same kind of real life experience that inspired the movie. Another parallel I was going to make to Cujo was the series of unfortunate events aspect of like
Oh
just
yeah,
everything going wrong one after another that leads to the scenarios in the movie. Uh, like in most movies, the driving force for the story is going to be like the character's decisions.
right.
But in this movie, and then a little bit with Cujo as well, it's like they're a victim of
Ooh,
circumstance the whole time. The What happens to them drives the story, not their decisions. You know what I mean?
I didn't think about that.
Because they make a few decisions,
Hmm,
like they decide to take the train instead of wait for the plane. They
right,
decide to split up or stay together,
right.
and then fate just keeps bringing them back together and fate keeps making it to where they can't get where they need to go. You know what I mean?
Uh, Without diving too much into one of my issues with this, one of my issues is like you said, it was like everything under the sun was happening that could go wrong. And to me, it almost took away some of the believability. Like, not that this couldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably some poor soul that lived this movie to a T and was like, it was the worst fucking 3 days of my life.
Right.
But like, I was like, come on. Like, some of this is, you're, I don't know, taking a silly situation and making it even sillier. And I don't know that I was on board for all of it. But I do know I would be so fucking pissed if it was me on this trip. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna ask you, are you more
yeah.
of like a John Candy or a Steve Martin in this situation? You're traveling. Are you kind of a go with the flow guy? Are you a uptight like I just leave me alone? I'm just trying to get where I'm going.
uh, Haley would probably say I'm Steve Martin. Like, well, like I'm John Candy until it starts to go wrong. Then I turn into Steve Martin. Like then I'm like motherfucker. Like, this is happening to me. Like the
Right.
you know, I had to the head gasket on my car had to break today. I
Yeah,
had to forget my passport today of all day. Like so once it happens, yeah, then I definitely flip the coin. And Haley, my wife would agree with you. So
yeah.
about that.
I
What about you?
aspire to be the John Candy, but I when it comes to traveling, it's like I straight ahead. Like I need to get where I'm going, especially
Oh,
now with
me
a
too.
family. It's like I'm responsible for these people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like everybody stay back. Don't fucking even inconvenience me even a little bit. I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Uh I just try to have that expression of like, don't fucking talk to me. Like if you're peddling something, or whatever, leave me alone. I don't care. If you're selling something, leave me alone. Like I am trying to get to where
Eyes
I'm
on the
going.
prize.
And then once I get there, I'm like, cool. I'm loosey goosey. You know what I mean? I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with the flow. But
yeah, yeah,
the journey there. But diving into the plot, right?
yeah.
We've
Let's do
reached
it.
the plot here. Let's let the audience know, for those who haven't seen it, exactly what's happening here. We have Steve Martin, who plays Neil Page, I believe is his name.
Yep.
He is a marketing dude at a company. Also kind of reminded me of Cujo, of like uh
Oh man.
the husband in Cujo, I can't remember his name, and his partner, and they're like marketing for Sharp cereal or whatever, like that whole bit. I was just kind of like, huh, this kind of seems like Cujo here.
Yeah.
Uh, but he's at a long meeting. The guy's indecisive. He's like, let's reconvene after the holidays. Steve Martin has to catch a plane at 6. He does not make it. And to really sum it up, he gets caught in a road trip with John Candy, and like he's trying to get to Chicago. And so John, I guess at the end it didn't matter if John Candy was actually going to Chicago at all, or like did he just
He was going to
because he
Chicago. He was on a plane headed to Chicago.
well I mean like oh like well I guess you're right. So he was going to the airport when they first hailed the cab, right?
Yeah.
Like he was
Correct.
okay. What it seemed like I didn't know if because Steve Martin met him there because they're sitting across the aisle and they like see each other. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but out the gate, hailing the cab was a funny scene, right?
Yeah.
He's racing Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that?
Yeah, I saw
Like,
Kevin Bacon, and I just watched Tremors. I think I talked to you a while back. I'm not a big Kevin Bacon fan.
oh, that's crazy, man.
I saw Kevin Bacon, I was like, "No, come on." And then he was only in it for a second. I was like, "Okay, that's fine."
did
I
you
think
did you
I think
think his character was gonna play a bigger role? Like I thought we might see him reoccurring or something, but really it was just 60 seconds and that's it.
yeah, he was just a quick cameo and then he was out of it.
Because even when so Steve Martin and him are racing to this cab. They get there at the same time and John Candy steals it, but like once they get there, you don't see Kevin Bacon at all.
Right.
It's like they filmed the chase to the cab and then he was like, "Okay, I'm done for the day." And then it was like, "Well, let's focus on Steve and John now."
Well, what I think happened was they were racing to a cab. I thought cuz on the way you see him, he comes up on that guy and the guy does kind of like the dance steps when they were like trying to
Mhm.
get by each other.
Right.
If you see it, I really think he was busting out some dance moves there. And then I think Kevin Bacon steals the cab, and then he looks around and sees another guy getting a cab.
Is that what it was? Is that
Yeah,
what happened?
yeah.
Okay.
Because then he goes
Man,
over to
okay.
the other guy and he offers him $10, and the guy goes 50, and he goes, "All right, 50," and he goes,
Yeah.
"Anyone who's willing to pay 50 is willing to pay
Would pay 75.
75." But he goes, "Not necessarily." In that point, you start seeing John Candy loading his trunk into the cab, and they're
That's
doing
right.
their little exchange, and then John Candy takes off, and Steve Martin chases him, and then you get that shot of John Candy seeing him through the window, and then
Yeah.
that's where they meet up again at the airport. The flight's delayed, and they have that look of recognition, like I know this guy.
I I love that look, dude.
And you even get that cool cut where they overlay like the cab door over John Candy when he's having that recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that look cuz he's like reading a book or the paper and he like his eyes are over, and covers it back up. I thought that was hilarious. And then Steve Martin is like, yeah, he's like, you're the guy that stole my cab. And then like they kind of talk him in, and then John Candy's like, you're the guy that tried to steal my cab. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
didn't just hear Steve Martin just explain, like, you tried to steal his.
yeah. He
Uh,
completely pulled the Uno reverse card on him.
have you ever, and like, we live in the Midwest, folks, like, we have cabs, but, like, have you ever had to, like, hail a cab and, like, been in a taxi? I don't think I ever have.
I have been to New York when I was like 8 years old. So my
Really?
parents, I think we rode in a cab at least once. We also rode the bus and the subway. We got the full experience.
No shit.
But as an adult, no, I've never had to hail a cab. And now you have like Ubers and stuff. So
Right, yeah, you're really the, uh, seems weird, like, for, like, and I don't even think I've rode the public bus. So, like, if I was alone in New York City and, like, had to, like, hail a cab, dude, I'd be so out of my element, you know what I mean? Like, I'm afraid every cab driver would just, like, not see me or, like, drive through a puddle and, like, splash me with, like, dirty water. It's probably not a big deal, like, but for me, I'm like, "That seems so weird, dude."
yeah, in a big city, specifically New York, is because that's the only thing I can really speak on. It's a lot more accepted to use public transit because the
For sure.
streets are so packed. Like
Oh, I
I
know,
would hate
yeah,
to drive in New York. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but like there's many episodes where it's about like they can't find a parking spot, and like there's a whole episode where Costanza gets in a gets in a standoff with someone for a parking spot. It takes them all day. They're there all day trying to like decide who gets the spot. Uh, and I remember as a kid riding the subway, and there was like some performers that came on, and they were like doing flips and stuff in
yeah,
the subway, and me and my dad were having a good time. But I think if I lived in New York, I'd be like, "Come on, buddy, I'm just trying to get to work.
for sure, yeah.
Get out of my
Yeah, it'd be
face. I'm
weird.
just trying to get to work."
See, and I think because I watch too many movies, like, a taxi's, like, one thing, but a Subway to me, I'm like, if I wanna die or get robbed, I will ride a Subway. Like, it seems
Well,
like,
a lot of
or I'm gonna
people
see some crazy shit, or, like, I don't know, man, just, like, a world of possibilities where I'm like, a Subway just seems fucking awful. Like,
yeah, a lot of people
th
have been like pushed on the tracks and stuff.
yeah, like, yeah, and I'm like, "Nope, I watch too many
Yeah.
movies. No way. I'll walk the 3 blocks in the cold New York chilly air or whatever, then ride the Subway or whatever." But,
I'm not a city person anyway. I wouldn't want to
y
live in the city.
same. I try to avoid it unless I have to go in there, which seems like all the concerts I wanna go to and, like, different
Mhm.
stuff downtown, and I'm like, "Fuck," one-way streets, endless traffic, you know,
Yeah. I'm
uh,
constantly lost.
for sure, yeah. If my GPS, if there is taking me one way and that way gets interrupted, I'm like, "Oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck," like, then
Yeah.
I'm, like, sweating bullets, like, "Where do I go? I can't navigate the city. This is why I live outside the city."
Right.
Um, so they're at the airport. Their flight to Chicago gets canceled, right?
Yep.
They decide
No, 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 no.
Steve Martin decide,
It doesn't get, it gets delayed, and then they when it finally takes off, it's the same flight. They get on the flight, but when they're in air, they get diverted to Wichita.
"Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then it gets canceled completely once they're in Wichita?
Yeah.
Okay, but then yeah, we'll get there. Uh, so it gets delayed. Steve Martin decides he's going to get a hotel the first night, right? Or he tries. He's not able to
Mm-mm.
get
No,
one.
they the first night he gets on the plane. Like he gets to the
They
airport,
get
they
on the
get on the
plane?
plane. He's like
Oh,
he's got a
okay.
first
I remember
class
right.
ticket, but he gets moved to coach.
Gets moved to coach, and
He's like,
the chick
"Great.
really
What
shouldn't give
else
a
could
shit.
go wrong?" And it like
Yeah,
then it shows John Candy's face right away,
that's
and
right.
you
And
see
then
that now he's right next to the person that stole his cab, annoyed him in the plane terminal, and now they have to ride the whole flight together. And
that's
not
right.
only that, but it gets diverted. So instead of going to Chicago, which would have been a shorter trip, now he's got to stay with them all the way to Wichita. There's a I think a lot of footage that didn't make it in the movie from that flight as well.
Sure.
Like there's a deleted scene I think that was on the I think it was not in theaters, but it was on the TV version of the movie where like some lady's hair gets in their food
Yeah,
over the back
I
of the
read about
seat.
that.
Um, and then there's a lot more improv from John Candy. I saw a clip where he's like, "Yeah, I turned my socks inside out. Give your feet a little bit of a break."
Uh,
When he takes his sock off, I try to be a polite person. I don't like feet. if I'm sitting in a plane and someone takes their sock
Oh,
off, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, could you fucking put that back on?
yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna ground this plane. I'm gonna be on the no-fly list if you don't put that sock back on because I'm gonna lose my shit."
Yeah, for sure. Uh, yeah. Like, while I can't, like, so one of my issues with this movie is like I have trouble resonating with this because like I've never traveled during the holidays. I probably never will. I watched too many movies to see that it's crazy fucking hectic. Seems like everything goes wrong, especially after watching this movie. So I don't resonate with like that per se. Yeah, it sucks to watch people go through that, but like you traveling during the holidays, man, it seems like you just gotta expect that. But one thing I can relate to with this movie is, and I think everyone can, so even if you don't travel holidays, this point, I think you can be like, oh, definitely. Everyone, I think, knows someone like Del Griffith, John Candy's character. Maybe not exactly everything he does in the movie, but someone who talks too much, shares too much information, can't get the hint of like, hey, I'm clearly trying to do something. Could you just like buck off or just like be quiet for 5 minutes? People that want to like take their socks and shoes off when you're like right beside them in public, and just do annoying shit. So like I was already feeling it for Steve Martin before this, but definitely this was a scene where like I'd be like, dude, no, we're not gonna do this. Like you're getting like no fucking way. You're gonna put that sock back on or something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can deal with you talking to me, but the second you start taking clothes off, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
In public, I'm like, I take it very seriously to be polite and try to like go along to get along. We're all in this
Right.
together. Let's be on our best behavior. And when people just
Yeah.
can't read the room,
Yeah.
it's like, come on.
I agree. Um yeah, and some of that was just like was almost tough to sit through. Like maybe not this, but like well, kind of this specifically, but some of this movie was just like, God, I'd be so pissed, man. Like I would just
Yeah,
Steve
I
Martin
think
really had to go through a lot.
I think
So
that's a little bit of the like cringe comedy kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, you see that later in with like Steve Carell and that kind of group, in like
For
later
sure.
movies where it's like that people play on that cringe comedy a lot, which I think it worked pretty good in this movie. But yeah, I would be furious.
It it does a good point. The cringe part of it does good to like make you feel what you should be feeling for Steve Martin. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like you're just aware that John Candy is just seemingly oblivious to his actions
Yeah,
and
he
Steve
can't take the
Martin's
hint.
reactions.
The last thing I
Um,
want to be is known as a blabbermouth who can't shut up and
yeah. They so the flight they divert to Wichita, right?
correct.
And this is where they get the hotel.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're yeah they're in the airport and he calls home and then he sees John Candy again and he's like, "Man, you're definitely not getting a flight out of here." And he's like, "You're saying I might be stuck in Wichita?" And he's, "No, I'm saying you are
You
stuck in
are
Wichita."
stuck in Wichita.
And he's got an inn with the guy at the Bradenwood Inn, because he sold some
Yeah,
shower ring curtains to him or whatever.
that's right.
And I loved that he was a shower ring salesman because it's like I couldn't even imagine that's a real thing. Nowadays you go on Amazon and you just buy a pack of,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you owned a hotel or something, you would just go on Amazon and buy a bulk pack of shower ring
absolutely.
curtain
Yeah.
rings. I like
I
that he had even like the little like thing in his luggage to show like the samples.
yeah, I did like the showering salesman. I thought that was funny. I even like that it like kind of plays a bit throughout the movie. You know what I mean? Like he uses the showering curtains to get them. I think maybe a few things in this movie. He
Yeah,
uses that as leverage at this hotel we're talking about. He sells it later to the girls and gets enough cash for them to do whatever later in the movie. Like I was like, this is a funny bit. Like
he even
that
sells it
this
as like
is
earrings to the
yeah.
girls.
Like he like goes lying to the girls about. It. I thought that was hilarious, and they're
Oh,
like wearing it too.
this
Like
one's got helium in it, so it's lighter.
that's why it's so light. Yeah,
Yeah. I even have in my notes, he can sell the fuck out of a shower curtain ring. Like this guy, I've never
I
seen
didn't even
someone
need him in that
sell
line.
something so insignificant so hard and be so good at it.
And he's so proud of it too.
Yeah.
Like he just wears that badge. Like I'm the executive of one of the showering sales. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, man. That was
Yeah.
great.
That was a good bit.
Uh, Yeah, what, they go to that hotel, the night at the hotel would piss me off. So, like, well, they end up having to share a bed, which I was like, "Why not just one of you sleep on the floor?" Like, would it kill you one night to sleep on the floor? Like, it would not have
Mhm.
been that big of a deal to me. I'd been like, "Okay," I'd even be the guy to be like, "Hey, you can have the bed. I'll take the floor. I don't mind. It's literally one night." Um, Especially after he gets, like, beer on the bed. Uh, the bathroom is just like a gross fucking mess. You know what I mean? Like, I would be really fucking frustrated. And some of that politeness I was talking about would probably start to seep away by this point. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're the
Yeah.
worst fucking roommate ever.
I don't know that I'd be able to sleep on the floor, and if I was gonna sleep on the floor, I would have never left the airport. I would just
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah,
found somewhere
yeah.
in the airport.
I
Uh,
absolutely would have stayed at the airport in the first place.
I don't think I ever would end up in this situation. I'm not stranger friendly. I would not go to a hotel with a stranger.
Nope. Nope.
Uh,
Even so much as like, I wouldn't even share a cab with a stranger. Like, that would be weird to me too. And I know
let's
that they didn't, but like,
oh, they did. They shared,
well, the weirdo
Doobies
cab the weirdo
Doobies
cab to the hotel. Yeah, I
what
was
was
thinking
it?
back in New York.
Yeah, I love
Doobies, to like
Taxiola,
Doobies, something like that, yeah.
like
That was funny.
Doobie's Taxiola. That's it. That scene was a little bit longer, I think, in the deleted, the stuff that didn't make it in.
The
Uh,
hotel scene was definitely longer. Like, he cut out a lot of that.
yeah, uh, yeah. So in the hotel, you talk about the beer on the bed. Uh, that came from someone delivering beer to the hotel, and they dropped it or something.
They get robbed that night. The guy that robbed him was the pizza delivery guy that was carrying beer, and he dropped it
Right.
before it got to John Candy, and then Steve Martin says a line about, "You put the beer on a vibrating bed," which I guess caused it to a
That was
can to
also
explode or something.
Yeah, that was
Um,
also one of the parts that didn't make it into the
yeah.
movie. There is a part there is it's filmed where they open the beers and the beers explode, and that's where the beer gets on the bed.
Oh, shit, okay.
And, yeah, they even mention later, John or, when the money goes missing out of the wallet, he says, like, "I had $700 in here. You went into my wallet to pay for the pizza." So that was
Yeah, you're right.
in reference to the pizza delivery, and John Candy only tipped the pizza guy $1. That's why he came back and robbed him.
That's why I came back to rob him. And,
And,
like, he got away with a lot of money, dude. Like,
yeah,
because he robbed
it's
John
like almost a
Candy too,
thousand
right?
bucks. Yeah,
Yeah. That's crazy.
700
I was like,
and
"Holy
200 and
shit."
something. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
And then there's that bit where Steve Martin comes out of the shower and the bathroom's wrecked.
And then he has that, like, dish rag or something to, like, dry off with. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason he didn't notice that going into the shower is there's a deleted scene where John Candy comes in while he's in the shower and he's like, "I'm in here." And John Candy's like, "Oh, it's you won't even notice I'm in here." And that's when he trashes the bathroom.
I yeah. I
So,
figured that from context clues, like, okay, he must have been in there, but then part of me was like, did Steve Martin really not, like, kinda hear the mess being made? Like, I know a shower is kinda loud, but, like, you can still hear through paper thin shower curtain kinda what's happening in the bathroom with you, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so I kinda thought, I was like, I don't know that really buy you wouldn't have known any of that, but once walking out of the shower, I've been pissed at what I'm looking at, and I've been extra pissed at this little fucking, like, rag I have to, like, dry off with, you know?
Mhm.
I'd be
Yeah.
I'd be pissed.
I think they should have left that bit in. That it wouldn't have been that long. It wouldn't have made the movie that much longer, and it would have really explained why the
For
bathroom
sure.
was trashed. Uh, I think some of the stuff that they cut out in that hotel scene, the pizza, the beer, the shower scene, it makes it a little more reasonable why Steve Martin blows up at John Candy in the
I
middle of the
agree.
night.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think some of that stuff should have been left in, but you know,
To me, this is where, like, Steve Martin blows up at him, kinda hits him with some truth or, like, some knowledge or whatever, and this is where we first get John Candy's, like, big, like, "Well, go ahead and pick on me. I'm an easy target.
hmm
I like me. My wife likes me. My friends like me. My customers like me," whatever he says. That little bit, that short, like, monologue he's giving, That is literally the only bit of this movie I had ever seen before watching
Oh,
it
yeah,
last
gotcha.
night. Like, so I was like, "Oh, okay, this is that scene. Like, this is that great." And I was like, "Man, like, go like you feel for him." You know what I mean? Like, you're like, and even Steve Martin kind of is like, "Oh, fuck," like, you know, maybe I turned it up too much. And I definitely would have been like, "Shit." Like, "All right, man, I'm sorry." Like, you know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's another clip that got deleted was him apologizing. Like, they're
Oh
laying
shit.
there in bed, and he goes, "I'm sorry I yelled at you," and then John Candy's like, "I'm sorry too." But
What? Why couldn't you just keep that in? It's like 5 seconds.
yeah, and you're right, like, that part really, like, tugs at the heartstrings, is like,
For sure. Yeah.
I like me," and you're like, "Man, yeah, I like you too, I changed my mind already." But,
You They
I
do
mean,
a good
he
job. No, yeah, go on. Go on.
well, I was gonna say, like, that line was so influential and so, like, noteworthy that they even, like, named the documentary after that one line.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good
Mhm.
call, man. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that.
Mhm.
Like I knew that line was from the movie and I knew he says this, but like my brain wasn't like putting
Connecting
two
the
and
2.
two together, like wasn't making that connection. Even Family Guy, Peter Griffin gives that same spiel during some episode about something. The I like me. My wife likes me. He says it to someone in some episode or something, and I was like, oh, okay.
I
Planes, trains,
actually
automobiles.
I actually think I
Cool.
remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Uh yeah, that moment is definitely like your first bit of like, oh man, this guy's got heart of
Mhm.
gold. It's hard to like be pissed, but definitely by the end of the movie, I think you could be justified in letting off some steam towards him. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but
I mean, that whole bit with Steve Martin, like, yelling at him was funny. They're like,
yeah,
you're Chatty Cathy doll, but I wouldn't have to pull the string because 'cause you'd pull it." Like,
uh,
that was pretty funny. That whole, back and forth. So
hey, hey,
it was
honey,
funny
here's
and then immediately, like, heartwarming. So that was a good 1-2 punch, I
it's
thought.
like, hey, honey, here's Del Griffith who's got all these anecdotes for you, and also here's a shotgun if you want to blow your brains out or whatever he says there.
Yeah. I could put up it with anything because I spent time with Del Griffith, and they'll
That's right.
say, "I know exactly what you mean," or yeah.
That's right. Um, what from the hotel they do they
That's
get
when
do they
they
get on the
have
train?
breakfast. That's when they have breakfast and decide that they're gonna take the train. They
They're
notice
gonna
that
take
the
the
money's
train.
been stolen. In the middle of the night, the pizza delivery boy breaks in, steals their money. Uh, they go to the diner. They realize they've been robbed. Uh, Steve Martin offers to pay for the train. You get me on the train, I'll pay for the ticket.
Right. Remember this. They get on the train. The train breaks
Breaks
down,
down.
like more or less. Yeah, I think online it said in Jefferson City. So they're going from
Mm-hmm.
Wichita. They've made it through halfway through Missouri now, on their way to St. Louis. Was that it? Was that
Yes.
where they were going? Because they were
Well,
gonna because they were gonna catch a plane from St. Louis home. Was that?
they go to St. Louis. I don't know if that's the train's
Well, the train
destination.
the
You could
train
be right about that.
stops. They all get
Jefferson City.
off. And this is one of the parts where they've kind of parted ways because like Steve Martin's like, oh, my seat's up here, your seat's back there. Hey, it's been fun. But they get off the train. He sees Dell dragging his luggage through like a fucking like cornfield without
Yeah,
corn,
yeah,
because it's winter.
yeah.
So he helps him pick it up. So fate has brought him back together now. They go from there. They go and sit somewhere at like another diner or something. And he's like, hey, maybe it'd be easier if we go separately.
You
You
know,
know,
we actually skipped a part where Dell's friend picks them up in the pickup truck.
did that already
Uh,
happen?
yeah, because he's the one who. No, 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 no. Yeah, he's the one who takes him to the train station because he's like, "Oh, train's not in Wichita. It's in.
That's right. That's right.
And it's play. He's played by
I think the guy's name is Dylan Baker.
Dylan Baker, and he's in like
He he's in a lot of
everything.
shit. Um, I know him from he's Dr. Kirk Connors in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies.
Right.
So he and his character becomes a lizard in like Spider-Man lore, right? Because he's
Oh
got like
man,
a one arm or whatever. But like that's
gotcha.
where I know this guy from. He's in a ton of shit though, like you said. And he
I
is
heard
like fucking
I heard that
backwoods thick,
character
bro.
is like his kind of creation,
For sure. Yeah, I read about that as well.
and
Like the
w- go
like
ahead. I know what you have.
like Oh man, like I was like, this guy's revolting, dude. Like,
When he spits and wipes it off and shakes Steve Martin's hand, his reaction is real. Like he didn't know he was going to do that.
yeah,
So
that's
they
crazy,
said
dude.
that he was like right after that take, he had to run off set and like wash his hands, and the whole crew was like cracking up. And I liked how he
That's
was like,
ugh.
"No, you don't need to lift up that trunk. My wife can get it." And she
Yeah,
had a
that,
baby. Her first baby came out sideways. She didn't scream or nothing.
that was funny. I remember
His
that.
character was good. Him and
They
then Doobie. I feel like Larry Hankin, who played Doobie, those guys
he's
are
in a lot of shit
everywhere.
too. Yeah.
Those are two like that guys, where you're like, oh, hey, it's that guy. And I tried to like look up his movies, and he had so many, and it's like you're not really the main guy ever, but every time you're in a movie, it's like it's great.
Another notable side character in this, and we haven't made it that far yet, but the hotel clerk that he trades the $17 and the gold watch to. Do you recognize him? He's
I didn't.
like he's the lawyer guy from Jurassic Park. The one
Oh,
that is there to oversee
hmm,
John Hammond from like the stock dudes, the ones funding it or whatever. He's like, I
yeah,
got to make sure all this shit is good, or we're never gonna have the money, whatever. And he's the
right,
one that's like, we're gonna make so much money. He gets eaten by the T Rex in the
yeah,
bathroom, whatever. Yeah, that's that guy. So that was kind of cool to see. I was like, oh, huh, you're gonna die in a few years from a T Rex, but no big deal.
right,
Um, but yeah,
yeah.
the hit guy, he takes him to the train. Train gets caught. They
Oh, they ride in the
go.
back of the train. That's what's hard about reviewing a comedy movie because it's so many like, oh, that part was funny. Like when he was like reaching for the wallet and the dog was like growling at him.
When was this at in the
He
movie?
was in the back of the truck on the way to the train
Oh
station,
yes, that's right.
and the
Yeah, yeah,
dog's
yeah.
growling, and he goes to reach for the wallet, and he like pulls his hand back, and John Candy goes, "Hey, give him his wallet back." Telling the dog to give him his wallet back. I don't know. That made me laugh.
Is that when they arrive to the train station? Is that when they're like covered in like snow,
Yeah,
like popsicle? Okay, yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right.
All right. Fast forward. Train
Uh,
breaks down. Sorry to derail
well,
us.
I think we
Uh,
were from the train. They walk through the field. So that, like I said, so they end up at a diner, right? And Steve Martin tells them, "Hey, maybe if we go separately, we'll get there sooner." And you can tell John Candy, I think, has kind of picked up on it right now. Like
that's
he seems a little
after.
pissed.
That's after he sold all the. After he sold all the shower curtain rings
Is that when that
because
happens?
John Candy pays for the meal. Remember?
That's right.
And
Is
he's like, I
yeah,
don't want
okay.
your money. He's like, well,
You're
then
right.
just leave. Just leave it. Just leave it. That's fine. Just leave
You're
it.
right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah, they part ways again, and then is this the rental car? Are we to the rental car bit?
Yes, I think
Oh yeah, dude.
they both head to. I think it's an airport to rent a car. The airport in St. Louis to
Yeah,
rent a car.
and man, dude, he so he gets a rental car from someone else, right? Not the chick that he's about to like cuss out, right?
No, well, yeah, the same company but a different person.
Different employee. Okay, so he goes to the spot number. The car is gone, which I was kind of like, how's the car gone? Like, how, like that's such a weird mistake to like a
I,
whole car be missing. You know what I
I,
mean? Even though
it
in your system it's not. I don't know.
it could be just like a clerical error of like
Sure.
you got
Uh,
519. I forgot I already handed out 519. This is before
right.
computers were
Uh,
as sophisticated as they are now. So
he's he's pissed. Because I think he starts having a fit, like in that parking lot or whatever,
yep,
and then he has to walk across the parking lot, the tarmac. Yeah, you're right. So it is an airport where the rentals because he walks across the tarmac. He goes in and he comes across. I think her name is Edie McClurg. She's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I think is maybe one of her more notable roles. Also a John Hughes film.
yeah.
She plays the principal secretary who talks about Ferris Bueller. She's like, he's a righteous dude. All the dweebies, dickheads,
she
jocks, they all love him.
she's a lot. She's in a lot of stuff too. She's
Oh,
a
yeah.
kind of that chick, like
She does a lot
there
of
she is
voice
again.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah. She's kind of like what you said about those other guys. Like, you'd recognize her and be like, oh, she's in all these movies, but you may not know her name, you
right.
know? But she's hilarious.
This
And
this may be her best thing she's ever done. I think it was hilarious.
Steve Martin goes up to her, and so he drops 16, 19 F bombs
So
in
somewhere in there.
like in like 60 seconds or something like that. and it turns the movie from PG-13 to kind of a hard R at this
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Like that many in that short a span, and wipe that fucking smile off your dumbass face. Uh,
Yeah. I need a
oh man,
fucking car right fucking now. And then her response to that is so good. "Oh, do you
you're
have the
fucked.
rental agreement?" "Oh, well,
Oh, that's right.
you're fucked." I was like, "Oh, man." Yeah, that was
She gave it
comedy
to him.
gold.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
heard it was this scene and then my other favorite scene that we're gonna get to on the highway that Steve Martin read
Okay,
and immediately agreed to do the movie when he read those
that's right.
scenes.
Yeah, that's true. And I think this chick improvised like her because I think he has to wait for her to finish a conversation. She's like, I can't cook, whatever. I think John Hughes told her to just improvise like a phone riff. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so I think when she got done, he was like, "Hey, how did you come up with that stuff?" And she was like, "Oh, well, like you, I just pulled from real life, like because you're
yeah,
always,
he
having those the Thanksgiving discussions. Who's cooking this? Who's bringing this? What house are we going to?
originally, she was on the phone with, like, just someone else with a rental car, it was just, like, business rental car business, and then John Hughes said, "Alright, on this take, just talk about Thanksgiving," and,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
and then, that's when she riffs and does "Oh, and mom's making the turkey.
Yeah.
Gobble, gobble."
Gobble, gobble. Oh, oh, so I think is that a meme? The gobble gobble thing or something?
I I don't know.
I feel like I'd seen that somewhere, maybe in like a short or like something, and not knowing where that was from.
Yeah.
So then when it happened, I was like, this is that. I was like, holy shit. Like, okay.
I have a lot of those moments watching these old movies. I watched Predator for the first time, I think last year. And then when they do they link arms and it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
the two arms together, I was like, oh, that's the beam.
The like
You
muscle
know?
clap, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, this movie does have it is very quotable. I will say that. Like thinking about it, like it is very quotable. So Steve Martin gets fucked out of a rental car. He hooks back up with John Candy somehow, right? Oh, he goes to get a taxi and he threatens the guy that I guess gets the taxis for them or whatever.
He wants to
The
rent
guy
a
says
cab.
something. The guy says something about a joke, and he's like, "If I want to hear a joke, I'll follow you into the men's men's urinals or something." And the dude, I think, just punches him in the face.
And
John
then
Candy
he does the fast blinks.
with the fast blings. Yeah, John Candy rolls up and he's like, "What are you doing? I could have ran your head over like a melon or something like that." And um, fate has now brought them back together again
Yeah.
for time number 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
And then we
They
get to
can't get away from each other.
I think we're on to what maybe one of the best scenes in the movie, if
I,
not the best,
it's 100% the best scene in the
which is
movie.
the rental car scene and the
Yeah.
whole drive on the interstate. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I was laughing for this bit.
It, I, yeah. This sealed it for me as being a good movie, I think. This one scene. I could just
For
watch
sure,
this one scene over and over again.
for sure. Uh, yeah, it is a good scene. They're on the highway. It's at night. They trying to think because I think a few things happened in this scene,
Yeah.
almost to the
Steve
point where I was like, okay, this is kind of a lot for like one bit, but I was like, I am enjoying what I'm looking at.
Well, it was
So,
like a snowball. It just slowly got better and
right.
better as it went on. Because you start out with Steve Martin driving and John Candy fucking with the seat.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
he breaks the seat because he can't well, he doesn't break it's not broken until Steve Martin gets into it, but he's leaning it back, bringing it up, he can't get comfortable. And then eventually they switch spots and John Candy's driving and he's smoking a cigarette and the first thing you see is him like throw the cigarette in the back seat. So that's like
Well, it just does it go out the window and then come through the back window, like just in and out?
either that or it like where it like creates that air resistance. So you're trying
Right.
to
Oh, and then it maybe blew it behind him.
yeah, blew it back into the back
Okay.
seat. And then that doesn't even come back till later. So then they're driving a little bit. Steve Martin's trying to sleep and you get the John Candy playing the tapping on the
Yeah,
you
he's
know what I mean?
like pianoing on the like dashboard to I think Ray Charles or something. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's doing that and he's dancing and well, he gets his one sleeve caught on the chair.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And then he's like, okay. So then he puts his other hand back trying to adjust the seat. Now he's got both his arms stuck and he's like trying to drive with his legs.
I love this shot, the point of view shot of like his thighs around the steering wheel.
Yeah, that was
And
so
then
good.
I think it comes back to windshield facing him, and he's like, "Okay, okay, I got it. I can handle this," and yeah, that was that was super funny. Uh,
Then he either tries to take an exit or he comes up on some kind of stop sign or something, and the car he rips his hands free, grabs the wheel, and it spins out. And in that time, Steve Martin finally wakes up. He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Well, we almost hit a deer."
we almost hit a deer. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
which I thought
crazy.
was a pretty good excuse. Like, nailed
Oh,
it.
for sure. Yeah. Uh, yeah, 100%. Like that is easily plausible, especially in the Midwest for those who don't, live around here. Hitting deer, very, very possible. At
Yeah,
any time of the year, really. Doesn't even have to be winter. You know what I mean? Like,
there's deer in my neighborhood all the time.
oh yeah, for sure. I've seen them in my neighbors' yards, like, and I live in a neighborhood. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's very possible. Um, they get back on the highway. They end up going the wrong way.
yeah,
Uh, and thankfully, it's like it was even for like a midwestern highway. It was pretty deserted. You know what I
hmm
mean? Uh, and so they're on the highway, and two semi trucks. And this was another moment where I was like, I don't know that I fully believe this, but like two semi trucks are heading their way because they're driving, of course, like side by side. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're probably Jack Burton from what we just talked about, Big Trouble in Little China. They're probably like, yeah, the Pork Express, your check's in the mail. Like
yeah,
side
yeah.
by side down the highway, like to the point where like because both semis have to see John Candy's car coming, and John Candy and them don't even see two semis until they're pretty close to it.
Well,
But
you
like
also got the
no
people
one
next
diverts
to
from
him.
the path. What'd you say?
You got the people next to him flagging him down too.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
Because
going the wrong way.
they're like, how do they know where we're going? Like, how could they possibly know where we're headed? And C. Barnes like, yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
All right, buddy.
They and so like none of the cars divert from the path, and
Well,
like,
I think the reason they don't see the semis is because they're looking at the people next to him who's trying to flag him
well, why
down.
would the semis not? Like, to me, it was just like one of you guys would have
Well,
veered off or crashed or something. It was
I would
almost
say semis when you got that much weight, you can't just like stop on a dime. So you can't just
for
slam on
sure,
the brakes to get behind the other semi if you're like right next to each other. That's
for
kind of
sure.
why, I think when you're like merging, you're like, why won't these guys get over? It's because the truck is so big that
Right,
like
right.
it's not easy for them just to jump lanes because then you get the speed wobble and then you flip your truck
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
everybody's fucked.
Like
So
sharing through the middle of them and just losing your rear view mirrors and like just scraping up, trading paint on the sides. It works great for the movie, and like I said, it added a lot of humor to it. I just was like, I don't know that I'd buy this in real life. Well, one of you semis would have veered or wrecked, or the car would have
I
pivoted between them and panicked. Something would have happened.
yeah,
But
I couldn't see it
I
happening
don't I
exactly
don't
like
hold
that.
that against it.
Yeah.
What say?
I said I couldn't see that happening
No,
exactly like that. You're probably
no.
right.
Yeah, so while I'm complaining about it, like I said, I don't hold it against the movie, like because it worked for the movie, and it was like on in the kind of in the middle of a really great scene because
Mhm.
you think that's do they stop and turn around? How do they?
After they get
What
through
happens
the
after?
semis?
Yeah, once they get through the semis, is this when
Oh,
the
okay.
car
We'll
catches?
get there. We're skipping over literally my favorite part of the whole movie.
Which
Right
part's
when
that?
they're in between the semis, and then it cuts to John
Oh
Candy as a
shit!
skeleton, Steve Martin as a skeleton, and then John Candy in the devil costume. Like when I saw that, I could not stop laughing. I was like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen." It almost doesn't fit with the movie. It's so absurd, but like
It is absurd.
I think it really works. I heard something like the production company came on set that day to like kind of make sure because I think the production was taking a little bit longer than it was supposed to. So they were trying to
Sure.
make sure that it was on pace. And they show up and John Candy's in a devil costume and they're like, "Where in the script was this?" Because it was like kind of like a last minute idea. They're like, "This isn't even in the script. What are you guys doing?" And to me, it was the funniest moment in the whole movie.
John Hughes must have like an affinity for that because even in one of the Home Alones, when one of the wet bandits grabs something electrical and he's like, "Ah!"
Mhm.
It does a quick shows him as a skeleton getting
Yeah.
electrocuted before cutting back to I think it was Daniel Stern, maybe in Home Alone too. But when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like this is a funny gag. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Oh, man.
it's funny. I actually forgot about that bit because I was like, "Okay," and then I saw the devil bit, and then I was like, "Huh, this is weird." And then I think it immediately goes into whatever happens afterwards. But I had
Yeah,
actually
they pull
forgot
off
about that.
and the car is just fucking wrecked. The whole side is all scraped up, and, they get out and they're talking about it, and then the car catches on fire, and then Steve Martin starts laughing. He's like, "Haha, you finally got yourself. Because he rented the car. John Candy rented
That's
the
right.
car. You finally did it to yourself. Ha 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 ha. You got you. Ha ha ha." And then he slowly starts to realize, "You don't have a credit card. How did you rent this car?"
Well, he says he's like, I traded her shower rings, right? Or gave her
Yeah,
whatever. And then he's like, you can't
rent a car with
do that
you can't
with
rent a car
shower
with
rings.
shower
Or,
rings.
well, and even before Steve Martin lays down in the broken seat and John Candy's driving, he's like, I'm putting my wallet in the dashboard.
Mhm.
Remind me before we get out. So, like you said, he's like, ha, yeah, fucked yourself. And he's having this realization about the credit cards. Then you find out because I think when did the credit cards get mixed up? Was that
That's one thing I wasn't able to figure out. I thought maybe,
I
like I thought maybe the pizza delivery guy when he was robbing them switched it,
well
but then I was
I
like, "That doesn't
saw
make sense because they used it
I
after
saw
that, I
it
think."
in one scene because the dude takes Steve Martin's card. He has one of those
Oh,
old
oh,
like
oh.
credit card things where you have to like run the
When
thing over it and run it back,
when
and
they
he puts it
rent
on. Yeah,
maybe it was when they rented the hotel
yes,
because he's
yeah,
like,
the first hotel.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that must have been it."
because he runs his card, puts it down. He takes John Candy's, runs it, and I think Steve Martin grabs the wrong one or
That must
something.
be it.
But like that was another bit where I like while that's not impossible, I was kind of like, did you not double check? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm always like hyper aware of like what, especially when it comes to finances and money and shit, especially something like a credit card. Like, you know what I mean? I would, it's something I would have double checked on, but I was like,
Definitely.
okay, you've had a rough day. You're still with John Candy. Easily could easily happen. I won't. That's not
Yeah,
knockable
it's
to me
it's not unheard of.
for sure. And then, so yeah, he's like, no, I use your card or whatever, and then I put it back in your wallet. And then I think they both look at the car on fire, and they're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then how do they get? Oh, they drive the
Yeah,
broken car
yeah,
to the next hotel,
yeah,
right? Because this is when we meet the guy who I said was in Jurassic Park,
right.
the lawyer guy or whatever. And Steve Martin, I think, pulls out 3 credit cards or something. He's like, here's my American Express, here's
Here's my
my
diners
Diners
club.
Club
Yeah,
or whatever, and here's whatever. And they're just all but charred. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, there's, there's slivers left, the bottom corner, maybe,
yeah, yeah.
And the guy's like, no, like, I can't pay with this. And that's when he offers him, I think, $17 and a
Really
really
nice
nice
watch.
watch. Really nice Rolex or whatever he said. Yeah.
I
I'm
think
not a
it's a
watch guy,
pretty
so I don't
nice
know about that.
watch or something. He doesn't
Yeah, I don't
specify
think
what kind of watch.
he might not have named it. Um, but he gets a room. John Candy does not.
Yeah, he's like,
He
"How about $2 in a crappy watch or whatever?"
a crappy watch. Uh, so he goes to sleep out in the car. There's just like I was like, oh wow, you're just gonna okay, that's probably pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
And
it's because there's no, like, top on the car, so, like, the snow's just coming
no
right in.
top, no windows, no nothing. It's a husk at this point.
He
And
starts reflecting on, like, "Man, Dell, you really did it. You meet someone you genuinely like, and you annoy him to death." I can't remember the exact lines, but yeah.
I did wonder in this bit here because it is kind of another bit where you kind of get I don't know like heartfelt is the right word, but you kind of get like another side of what you've seen of Del Griffith. Was he like how do I word it? Like, it seemed like he knew he had these flaws and was maybe exerting them in such an effort to make a friendship, or was he just kind of like doing the self-reflecting and not aware? I don't know how to word it. Like it
I think he's self-aware that, like, he can be a little overbearing,
okay, okay.
and this scene is kinda talking to his wife a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
"I
because
wish
he's
you
like,
were
"Oh, you're
here."
right. You're right, Marie," or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
"You said that you always said this or something, and now it's happening," or some shit like that or whatever.
I
Yeah, you're
think it's
right.
just naturally his personality to be the way he is, and I think
Sure.
he has probably come across this before where he's annoyed people and, ultimately, he's got a good nature and he's got a good heart, but he is just kind of a bumbling oaf a little bit.
Well, see, and it's it's interesting that when Steve Martin hit him with all that knowledge earlier, he kind of said what John Candy was saying to himself. He just said it in a really dick way. And John Candy was like, "I like me, whatever." But then it took John Candy to kind of self-reflect versus hearing it from, like an asshole's mouth to really like, man, you did this and you're driving this guy away, someone you really care about or like whatever he says. I thought that was kind of interesting how he, you know, defended himself with Steve Martin and then had to like reflect like to himself that, he was the way he was or whatever. But he's
I
not out
think
there for long. He's only out there for a couple minutes,
Right.
right? Steve Martin sees him out there and he's like, "Oh fuck, okay, like come on." Because the hotel room had two beds, right? This one had two beds, I believe. Is that right? Surely he wouldn't have invited him back in if it still had one.
I think it
I
had
think
2
it had two
beds.
beds. Maybe twins or maybe two fulls or something. I don't know. I think it had two beds.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
but what happens after this?
Well, they were
They have the night drinking, right? This is
Yeah,
when
they stay up drinking. This is, like,
they
the
kind of
first time where they really kinda, like, bond, you know?
that's right. They bro down for sure.
Later, I'll probably look back on this trip and laugh, kinda thing.
That's right.
Did
And
we I think
I think they have a good laugh about it there. I think he's like, I'm already laughing about it, and then they have a good jolly laugh.
Yeah.
And
I think we
you
skipped we s okay, I think we skipped the bus scene where they ride the bus.
oh
I think that was in between the train and the rental car.
you're talking about the bus scene where like they all end up singing songs and then like Steve Martin goes to
3
sing a song and
coins in
then
a fountain. Yeah.
did did people just not like the song or was it like not appropriate for like the bus or something? I was almost
To me, that read as, Steve Martin's uptight and stuff, and he's finally like, "Okay, let me loosen my tie a little bit, and everyone's having a good time. Let me try to put my own little spin on it." And then when he starts to sing his song, everyone in the bus whips their head around and stares right
literally
at him.
everyone
And I think people can relate to that. You're like, "Let me get out of my shell a little bit," and then it like completely
backfires.
flatlines. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I did feel bad for him there.
then there's the couple that's like making out on the bus
Yeah,
that he gets
dude.
cut. Yeah. Because I was trying to think of where we were going next, and I was like, "Is this when the bus is?" And then I remembered, yeah, we already passed that.
Yeah, because it's funny, John Candy points them out, and then Steve Martin is the one that gets something said to him. The
Yeah,
guy's like, "We take a picture, it'll last longer."
yeah.
Like, I'd be like, "I'm fine just watching the live show. You're obviously
You're
don't mind putting it on,
yeah,
so,
you're
you
doing it.
know."
You're doing it in public. You want people to watch, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't turn this on me.
Yeah, like, don't make me the bad guy here, just I'm a human just like all these other fools.
Yeah. Sorry to derail us
No,
again, but
you're good, because I was actually like so one of my issues we're coming up on the end, but, like, one of my issues with this movie, I was like, there was so much that happened. I had trouble before this episode being like, okay, what all happened exactly now? Because so much shit went wrong. And there was so much that I was like, okay, like, there was this, there was this, there was this. So you taking us back and hitting these other points, yeah, no, I appreciate it because I
yeah,
definitely
that
didn't remember. So
it's the reason I try to watch the movies twice. I try to get one audience member experience where I just sit and I watch it. I'll take
sure.
notes. And then the second time, I don't watch all at once. I watch in little bits and pieces whenever I have time, and I'll take more notes and kind of try to nail down the story beats to try to like remember.
Okay.
And even then, I'm still bad. I'll still forget names. I'll still forget like we just forget the bus
Sure.
scene there. But I try to keep it straight.
For sure.
So
Well,
they
like I said, I appreciate it. So,
yeah. So they have that bonding moment in the hotel, and then after that, we're kind of getting towards the end of our destination. I think we get another one of Dell's friends with a semi truck, and they ride in the refrigerated compartment in the back. Right?
okay. So,
Oh no no no
was
no
it a,
no no no! They still have the car. The car still works against all odds.
they're
They
driving it on the highway and they get stopped by the state trooper or whatever.
yes.
That's right.
Who? See what is his name?
See, apparently, I think that bit was supposed to be a bit longer too, or like done
Yes.
differently.
Yes.
Um,
So
so audience in the movie, the state trooper is literally on there. It's maybe fucking 90 seconds. He stops him because he's like, "Hey, your car is a total piece of shit. This isn't road legal. We got to impound it." And that's pretty much the whole scene.
it's
So,
worth
but
noting that the scene is that short, and he's billed fourth in the movie.
I did see that. Even Kevin Bacon, I think, is billed fifth, and he's in it for 60 seconds with no
Nah, we
lines.
get Dylan Baker is fifth, then Kevin Bacon. At least as
Okay,
far as Letterbox is concerned.
sure.
I think that was like a contractual thing, but yeah. Anyway, that scene. I'm trying to look it up here. So the state trooper. This was another subplot that got removed. So the previous subplots with like the pizza delivery boy and some of that stuff got removed, and then this is the next one, which was the state trooper was supposed to reveal that Dell and Neil actually drove past Chicago and was pulled over in Wisconsin. Uh, that explains why the state trooper has a Wisconsin patch on his uniform, which
Right.
I didn't notice. I looked it up. Saw that later, but so they were supposed
Yeah,
to have missed Chicago, went all the way to Wisconsin, and then had to backtrack. But that part got cut out of the movie.
because I think Steve Martin, upon finding that out, was supposed to like, was he supposed to punch Dell or something like that? Like, I think he was supposed to have a fit or something.
So they impound the car. They were speeding. The trooper's like, "You guys really think this is safe for highway travel?" And
It's
he's
like,
like,
yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah. Uh,
"Yeah." Then he hits him with the, "Oh, I admit it. I broke the law, but if you impound the car, I won't be able to get my buddy here home for Thanksgiving."
Thanksgiving. They
The car
impound it.
gets impounded. I think after that, when they get let out, I think they have a disagreement, and that's when Neil punches Dell in the face, or
But
he
that,
would if it got left in the movie.
I was going to say, I was going to say that I don't know that that was in the movie.
No,
So
it got
then,
taken out.
I will say, John Candy, this is one of the scenes, John Candy does such a good job of like, being that I don't even know how to, like, put it into words. Like, the guy's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" And he's like, no." "Well, that's funny. Me and my guy were just talking about that, and, the speedometer's broken, so I couldn't tell you exactly how fast we were going." And then, like, he'll spout it off and then, like, like, just have this jolly laugh and, like,
Yeah,
try to play this situation, and he does this several times in the film.
yeah.
He's so good at that, and I
Hmm.
think you see that in other movies he's done. Really, like, brings you into the character and brings out that lovable, like, "Oh,
Signature
man, this
John Candy for
guy's."
sure.
Yeah, for sure, like, and he tries to talk his way out of the state trooper impounding the car, and yeah, it gets impounded, and then I don't know where they go from there.
After it gets
They
impounded, like I said, we're
Like I
getting
say,
towards the end here.
we're nearing the destination. Somehow they get a they mm,
Hold on, hold on. Oh, the trucker. Dell's friend, the trucker.
oh, he's
This
in
is
the
where
Coca-Cola
they
truck
catch a ride
or something.
on the semi truck, but there's no room in the cab, so they have to sit. They're in the
Sit
box. They're sitting on the boxes. They're in the refrigerated
in the
compartment.
refrigerator car. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, he gets him to Chicago.
yeah, that's when we finally
And
make
they
it to Chicago.
get to the
At
train station,
Yeah, it's like the
right? They're on the
Chicago
platform.
L or something. It's like a tram kind of train. I don't.
Yeah, I don't really know trains that well. So like
Yeah,
when
me
they're like,
neither.
I gotta take the L train or like I gotta take this line, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that even means. Like,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but they get there, they're on the platform, right?
Hmm.
And they're gonna part ways for time number 3 or 4. and
Yeah, and it's supposedly for good this time because they've made
right.
it home.
Steve Martin, I think he's I think he's relieved, obviously, right? Like, but I think he's also kind of like, hey, this was a hell of a 3 days for us. Like, man, honestly, just I wish you the best. Like,
Say
have
hi
a
to your
happy
wife.
Thanksgiving.
I feel
Yeah,
like I know her.
that's right. And he goes, he leaves, and so he must does he so he gets off. He must get the train back to exactly where he left from. It doesn't really show it. It kind of shows him on the train going, and then it kind of shows him on
He's on the
the
train
train
and
coming back.
he's reflecting on,
The journey,
he's like,
right?
I'm finally coming home. I'm gonna see my wife and my kids. And then he starts having memories of like him and Dell together, like snuggling in the
When they
bed.
were spooning in the bed,
And
and
then he slowly starts having these realizations of him talking about his wife. I haven't been home in years, John Candy says at one point.
yeah,
And he's like, what do you mean? Oh, it's just a figure of speech. So he hadn't been home in years and he's talking about all this stuff. And then he slowly realizes, oh, his wife is not around anymore.
yeah,
So then I don't know how those trains work, but he circles back around to the station and finds John Candy alone, somber, you know, because I guess to John Candy, this adventure was like a good time for him. He made a new friend, and
right.
uh, that's when he's like, why aren't you going home, Dell? And
Like, I
then
don't
we
have a
get
home.
yeah, then we get
My wife
our
died 8 years ago.
second or third, I guess third now, like heartfelt moment
Yeah,
where
dude.
where Dell admits that my wife is dead, and apparently his speech was supposed to be way longer.
Really?
Yeah,
And
it's way
they just skipped
longer.
it to 2 lines.
It's way longer, and
Oh, it gets a little dark, right? It was supposed to be.
it explains his whole life. Like, it explains how he got to where he was now as like just wandering around. His wife's been dead for 8 years, and I guess the speech was so moving that while they were filming it, Steve Martin was like crying. He said he was weeping while he was delivering the lines, and he's
Oh
like, I don't know
fuck,
why
dude.
they cut it. I saw an interview with Steve Martin, just like a
Yeah,
little clip. He's like, I don't know why they cut that. I was weeping while he was delivering the lines, and uh, so then he does the all right, man, come on, come with me. You come with me to
yeah,
Thanksgiving. Then we get the iconic shot where they're carrying the trunk together,
that's right. Yeah,
and then we
this.
finally make it home.
Yeah. Um, they finally make it to his house. Yeah, they approach together. They've got in-laws. He's got his parents. Meets the kids, and the wife's like coming down the stairs, and she's all like teary-eyed and shit, and she's like, "Hello, Mr. Griffith," or whatever, and he's like, "Hello, Mrs. Page," or whatever she says. Um, I did read there was a subplot that got cut out where the wife thought he was like cheating on her or seeing someone else, which is why when he gets home, she's all teary eyed there.
She's
Cause like,
relieved that Dell is real.
right, yeah, right. And I guess when I was watching, I was like, I didn't really think about it. I was like, oh, like she's had very little communication over the
She's just
last three
happy to
days.
see her husband.
Snowstorms. Yeah, I was like, oh, she's happy to see him. Okay, no big deal. Like I didn't think anything of it. Didn't feel weirdly out of place to me. But yeah, and I think it just ends. Is there an after credit scene? Is there something like? Is there or like
I
a little end
I
thing
didn't I
that I
didn't
read
stay
about or
around. I
something?
did read that at the end, the his boss is still in he's sitting at the
Oh,
table
that's right.
still looking over the ads.
That's right.
Because in the beginning he gets held up at work because the his boss is just sitting there looking at the I guess
The
the ad
pictures
proposal
or
that they
yeah,
so at the end he's still looking over the work with his Thanksgiving dinner sitting right next to him.
that's right. I did read about that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, it's a fun movie. It's a fun
I liked
movie.
it.
Um, I so did you suspect? his wife was already dead. Because I'm not gonna lie, the first time, I think it's the very first hotel, that the one they had to share a bed at, he pulls out a picture of her and, like, sets
Mm-hmm.
it on the nightstand, and I clocked it instantly. I was like, "I think she's dead." And I didn't know shit about it, but I was like, "Who brings a picture of their wife or someone that's still alive?" You know what I mean? Like, I guess you could, not knocking that if you do,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
was like, "Okay, I think she's dead." And, like, how vague he was being throughout the movie and different stuff, and then that night they're broing down drinking, Steve Martin says something like, "There's nothing better than, like, knowing you're going home to someone you love," or something, and he said John Candy says something like, "Love isn't a strong enough word for my wife," or something, and I was just like, "I think she's dead." Like, I think they're gonna try to pull a fast one. So
yeah,
then when they did, and even, like you said, just those 2 lines, he's like, "I don't have a home, my wife's been dead 8 years." I was like, "Uh, oh, man,
yeah, yeah,
heartstrings, stop,
yeah.
fuck
Definitely
off." But then secretly, I was like, "Uh, called it,
called it.
knew it." Like, "You can get me." Like,
I don't know that I called it. I I'm bad at like not trying to figure out that kind of stuff. I kind of
because you
let
wanna
the
be
movie
surprised.
yeah, I just let the movie take me where it's going to take me.
Sure,
Uh I think that did kind of seem obvious that maybe he wasn't being fully transparent about his personal life, what's really going
sure.
on. Uh so I can't say that I necessarily called it or didn't call it, but I wasn't surprised when his wife was dead. It was like, yeah, okay, clearly. This guy's out on the road, he hasn't been home in years. Yeah, it all makes sense. There
Yeah,
was
okay.
I read there was like a darker ending where they opened the trunk and his wife's mummified body was in there.
That's what I read too. That's what I
Yeah.
referenced earlier. I was like,
I'm
"Was this
glad
supposed
they
to be
didn't go
darker?"
with that because that
Oh,
I don't think
no.
that would have landed.
No, dude. Absolutely not. That would've been terrible.
Yeah.
That would've that would've taken an already alright movie and been like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
that's like a weirdo Stephen King ending, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just
that
gonna
wouldn't have worked
pull
at all, I
something out
don't
of
think.
left field. Um, but this was a cool movie. I'm glad we watched it. I'm glad we knocked it out. Like I said, I didn't even know it was the Thanksgiving movie until I was, like, looking it up after you suggested it. Um, it
They're
was cool. It's a
yeah,
lot of fun.
before we get completely wrapped up here,
Yeah.
what I sent you the thing about the remake. What'd you think of that?
Oh, right. And for the uninitiated, Tyler sent me this thing that I don't know if I heard this before or not. I definitely was surprised when you sent me the text. I guess Will Smith and Kevin Hart are looking to remake this.
Right.
I think it was in 2023. The last update was like they've got some writers working on it or something. Because I think they announced it several years ago.
I think it the first murmurs of it came around 2020
I was thinking
time.
2020.
And then I think in 2023 they confirmed they're still writing and they're trying to just get it perfect.
Sure.
Uh, I think the last update that I saw was early 2025 suggested that the project fell apart at one point, but other sources indicate that it's still in development. I
I actually saw on Wikipedia that I don't know what year, I think it was pretty recent, that it said Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler were looking to do a version of this. And then I was like, huh, okay. I don't know. I would, not that, I mean, Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, knock it out of the park every time, but I think a Will Smith and Kevin Hart version could be funny, you know?
yeah, I'm gonna get it's a no for me, dog. I don't think it needs to be made.
Oh,
One,
I
I
agree.
think One, I think Will Smith's kind of kryptonite now. I think
Oscars debacle.
after the Chris Rock thing, I think I wouldn't want to be associated with him. I think people have Kevin Hart fatigue. I think Kevin
Oh,
Hart is funny,
can be.
but
Yeah.
I I don't I don't think this would work. One, it's been remade. It's called Due Date. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
there's no reason that this movie needs to be called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's a like I said, there's many straight man and goofball road trip movies. Make one of those. Don't call it Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The only reason you would name it that is to capitalize on the success of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Right.
You know, unless are you gonna make it beat for beat? It's a comedy. It doesn't need remade like that. I
For
don't
sure.
think. I don't think Kevin Hart and Will Smith, even though they're producing, so obviously they want to be in it. I don't think they're the right choice. Um, I think I don't know if you know anything about Shane Gillis.
Yeah. Yeah. I know who he is. Yeah.
I think he would be good in Candy's part, and I think maybe if you've ever seen his show on Netflix, Tires,
I
uh,
know of it. Yeah.
his co-star in that, Steve Gerben. I listen to Shane's podcast and stuff, so I kind of know all about these guys and their like crew. I think
Right.
those two would be good as Dell and Neil. Uh, but if you know, it's Kevin Hart and Will Smith, and I think if you insist on going like the race swap route, I think Key and Peele would be a better choice.
Ooh, that'd
I
be
think Key
cool.
and Peele would be funny. I think just Will Smith's just grasping at straws. You know, I don't think it would work. I wouldn't be that excited to see it.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I'm gonna pitch you this. Okay.
Hit me.
Will Smith and Chris Rock
Ooh.
put some real life heat
Yeah, you know what?
in the plot. Huh?
I'd probably
Right?
see it just
Yeah.
to see what happens.
Yeah. I think that's the next hit. I think if they're gonna go in, that's the way to go.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin Hart,
Um,
you're out. Rock, you're in. Let's see
Rock,
it.
you're in. Let's
I
do
was
it.
kind of surprised that they didn't try to get The Rock to play John Candy's part, just because you know he's kind of a bigger guy. You could have the tension, like them in the plane seat. You know, he's so big that
Oh, yeah. Right.
because I kind of think John Candy's size played a lot
For sure.
into the movie. And The
Well,
Rock seems like he wants to put himself in everything now. So like,
and I was really glad that they didn't like make any puns or like go at John Candy's like size as jokes. Like I mean, they kind of show in the plane. Obviously, he's big. Steve Martin's kind of right. He's in the middle seat,
mhm.
which would suck when you got a stranger to your left and a stranger to your right. But like, there was no gags of like, you know, oh, you broke the seat because you're heavy or
Yeah.
whatever. The bed is uncomfortable because your side is whatever. Like I was really glad they didn't do that because I do not like body shaming humor. I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of low. And especially on a
Uh,
dude where John Candy has such a heart of gold. You're like, I don't want to see him in any fucking movie get like
well,
poked at like that.
what about Tommy Boy, fat guy in a little coat, man?
I'm actually not a Tommy Boy fan.
Oh,
And while I do think that line and the little bit is funny, uh, Chris Farley's another one like where I'm like, man, I hate to see people like use like I don't use the word fat to describe anyone. I think that's just really just ugh, it's really mean. But it goes for any larger person.
yeah, yeah.
But I was just specifically planes trains. I'm really glad they didn't use Candy's weight as at the expense of jokes.
I think sometimes with like with something like that, you kind of got to steer into the skid though a little bit. Like if you are a big guy, you know people
For
are
sure.
thinking about it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if it's used sparingly. Like if the whole bit was like, check out this fat guy. You know, I don't think that would work.
Sure.
Uh, he even mentions in the documentary, people are always like interviewing him, asking him about his weight, and
Yeah.
he's like, I never really think about that. You know, I just play the character. I'm not playing a fat guy doing the character. He's like, I'm just doing the character kind of thing.
Sure.
And that was interesting. That was kind of endearing. Uh, you know, people always talk about his weight and stuff. I think even they were concerned about his health on the set of this movie. I think they provided him with exercise equipment, like at the expense of the movie studio, you know, sending him exercise equipment, and he
Right.
never used it. And I think
I think I read
on
that too.
set
I
they
thought it
were
was
making
funny.
jokes about like after a couple days it just became like somewhere to hang his clothes or whatever.
That was
Uh,
pretty funny.
so yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it needed that. I don't think it needed that to make it funny. I
No,
think it was funny on its
no.
own.
And I think John Hughes probably maybe picked up on that as well. Like, hey, you can have funny moments with bigger people due to their size.
Hmm.
It just needs to be like classy. it's really easy for that to be like lowball humor or just like
Right.
really like. Could you guys not think of anything else? Like, did the scene have to revolve around like a fat joke versus some other gag? Because John Hughes pulls out tons of gags in this movie. I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, so much so that I was like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like this guy must. Steve Martin just has a black fucking cloud over his life in this in this movie where
Mhm.
everything is going wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, almost any of the jokes in this would have been made by two skinny guys. But again, the cramped bed in the
sure,
hotel and the cramped uh flight, I mean that stuff I think was amplified by him being a heavier guy, a bigger
for
guy.
sure, yeah.
Less
They just
space.
didn't need to. They just didn't need to state it or like
Yeah.
hit it on the nose. Steve
Yeah.
Martin was like, "Will you move your fat ass over so I can have an
Right.
armrest?" Like there was none of that, and I was really thankful.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you, man, what's your rating?
I'm always bouncing around between two. It's like how
Okay,
much
you
cuz
want me to go
cuz a lot of
first?
this you have the nostalgia factor. Like this was a hit, right? It did good in the box office.
Oh yeah,
Uh, it's
this is
still
apparently
beloved today. People
yeah.
still watch it
This is a
for.
rewatch movie that a lot of people rewatch every Thanksgiving, right?
I could see me watching it around Thanksgiving time. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was funny. I've been bouncing around between 4 and 4.5. I
Oh
don't think
wow,
it's a perfect 5. I think I landed at 4 out of 5 stars, but you
okay.
could persuade me to go 4.5, I think.
I won't,
Not
but
you. You couldn't persuade me
oh
specifically.
okay,
Someone out
okay.
there could persuade me.
I
Not
was like,
you.
oh man, all right. Well,
I think
I'm gonna
you're
disappoint you here.
yeah, I think you are, but that's okay.
uh,
I'll be 5-star Chris on this episode. I'll
that's fine. Uh, you know, I think on Letterboxd, I think I gave it a 3.
okay.
Um, like I said,
I'm hoping I may have
I
showed you.
I might bump it to 3.5.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not gonna
we
give
could
it a
meet in the
4.
middle. We could meet in the middle.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna give it a 4. Uh, but like it is a fun movie. It's got a lot of funny gags. The cast is great. I haven't really seen a lot of Steve Martin films. So it was weird for me, and I definitely haven't seen Steve Martin pre like early 2000s. So it was weird to see him so young, even though he had like white hair still, and
Yeah.
B, every Steve Martin film I have seen is family friendly. So hearing him cuss like in that one scene where he drops like 19 F bombs, I was like, this is kind of wild to see. Like I've not seen this side of Steve Martin. Um, but the cast is great. Like I said, I don't really relate to like I can relate to a road trip movie, but like holiday travel and like airports and stuff, it doesn't really resonate with me. I get it would suck. I've seen tons of movies, right, where this has to happen. But everyone knows someone like Del Griffith, I think, and I can relate to that. And
Okay. You say you can't relate. Let me throw this out at you.
okay,
I think your favorite movie is The Prestige.
yes,
Can you relate to being a magician?
yes.
Do you have to? That's my question. Do you have to be able to relate to it
Because when I
to
approach
appreciate
ladies,
it?
they
You know what I mean?
disappear.
Yeah, yeah. That's thing.
No, no. I hear you on that one. Um, Maybe it's just the way it's presented. Also, Prestige is how it's told. It's like a non-linear story, and it's fucking Christopher Nolan. I mean,
Yeah, I
fuck.
think you could
If
also
Christopher
maybe
Nolan
relate
remakes,
to.
if Christopher Nolan remakes a fucking holiday travel movie where it's like this, probably be amazing. And even though I don't relate to it,
So,
I just think it was maybe how this is done. I don't know.
well, I
I
think
also
like.
think, in my defense, had I watched this growing up, I would maybe like it more. Where the holiday travel wouldn't pertain to me,
Mhm.
um, because Uncle Buck is great, Home Alone is great, Breakfast Club is great. I've never seen Pretty in Pink or Weird Science. Um, the guy's written a ton of shit also, but like this one just didn't do it for me. Didn't check all the
That's fair.
boxes.
That's fair.
But it is enjoyable, and there is laughs to be had. If you're a John
Yeah,
Candy fan, this is for you.
right. Definitely. I think it's
Yeah.
to me. It's up. I haven't seen all of John Candy's, uh, all of his work, but I think this is up there pretty high. I think I wouldn't really count Home Alone because he's like a small part, but I think in like
for
the
sure.
stuff that I've seen him as like the one of the major players in the movie, it's probably second. I think Uncle Buck definitely is first.
Uncle Buck. People tend to love Spaceballs, and I know he's not like the star, but he is a star in
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I would count Spaceballs.
I think he's
I
got
think
some
I'd
other
put this
movie with.
above Spaceballs though, for sure.
See, I'm not the biggest Spaceballs fan either.
I'd have to see
I
it
do like
again.
Mel Brooks.
I'm not the
I like
biggest
Mel
star.
Brooks
I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy.
for sure.
I like Star Wars, but I'm not like a fanboy. You know.
I'm not a diehard. Yeah, no. Which is maybe why I think uh, not highly of Spaceballs, but whatever.
I think
Not that I
Spaceballs is
think
funny.
low of it. I just,
I would have to
you
see
know.
it again. I like that
Oh, for
kind of
sure.
humor. Um, and then you mentioned Steve Martin. I haven't seen a lot of Steve Martin either. I've seen part of The Jerk. I know the part where he's like, he hates these cans. That's like really the only like Steve Martin.
Never seen
He,
it.
someone's shooting at him and he like ends up hitting all these cans of oil or something and they start spurting out and he's like, well, that guy hates these cans. It's like, okay, it's kind of funny. I'm not the biggest Steve Martin guy. This is definitely my favorite Steve Martin movie.
Ooh. Oh man, I don't know.
I don't really like Cheaper by the Dozen.
I was gonna say
I'm not a
maybe
Pink
Cheaper by
Panther
the
guy.
Dozen. Like, what'd you say? What movie?
I'm not a Pink Panther guy.
Never seen Pink Panther. I've never seen The Jerk. I think I think he's in Father of the Bride, which I think
Yeah.
I've seen once, and I thought that was okay. He's in that movie. I think it's called Cyrano, where he's got like the big, like kind of nose or whatever, and it's a play. It's a play off of Shakespeare, I think, called Cyrano de Bergerac, where this dude, his nose kind of makes his appearance like not great to look at or something, but the dude is super wordsmith, right?
Mm,
So he can get girls on like written paper, because it's almost like it's old times, right? Shakespeare times. He like if he writes and like talks, girls like, oh my god, yeah. And then when they see him, they're like, oh, yikes.
yeah.
But yeah, Steve Martin, I don't know, doesn't really do it for me. But but this was fun. This was a fun episode. This was a cool Thanksgiving film. I may pull it out next year and watch it. I don't know. If I don't feel like I'm gonna miss anything. I could go a few Thanksgivings maybe without seeing this one.
So
Um,
did you land at 3 or 3.5? I didn't.
I'll boost it to a 3.5.
All
I'll
right.
go on my letterbox
I appreciate
and
that.
up at that half star because it is funny now that we're talking about it. And like you said, I've had time to reflect, and stuff. So I'll
Yeah,
boost it.
I think originally I put it at a 4, then I bumped it up to a 4.5 and then I bumped it back down to a 4. I've been kind of like I don't know, you know. I
Okay,
actually put his documentary higher than Planes, Trains and Automobiles. I've rated that at 4.5. That's definitely worth a watch for sure.
for
If
sure.
you at
Yeah,
all like John Candy, uh check that out. It's on Amazon. It's super awesome.
cool. Yeah, listeners, check out. It's called "I Like Me," right? This is
Yeah.
what the documentary is called. It's apparently pretty good. Tyler's not the first one I've heard this from. Multiple sources. Check this out if you're a John Hughes fan, a John Candy fan, a Steve Martin fan, Thanksgiving fan, I guess. I don't know. And this is worth a watch. It's on. I watched it on Paramount Plus. How'd you watch it? Did you
Paramount.
Paramount? Okay, yeah, it is on Paramount. Um, it's a fun film. Check it out. Thanksgiving is vastly approaching. Before we start diving into some Christmas stuff, which is going to
I,
be fun.
I
A
think
lot
we'll
of
have another John Hughes movie in just a couple
yeah,
weeks.
for sure. We'll revisit
My
John
favorite
Hughes
John Hughes movie.
for sure. And but if you like what you're doing or what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, spread the word. Um, we're out there: YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. Um, Plenty of ways to see us. Check out our Instagram page. Think outside the box office. This was fun, and we
Yeah.
can't wait to see you guys again.